Shreveport City Councilman John Nickelson here for a little bit. Hey, Mr. John, welcome back to Keel. How are you this morning?
Hey, good morning. I'm well. How are you, Robert?
Okay, so the meeting yesterday, what did you think? How did it go? We'll start with a great big macro question. Tell us what you heard. Tell us what you saw.
That is a great big macro question, Robert. Tell me what you wanted to tell you.
Well, let's start with the insurance thing. Let's start with what, to me, is the swollen thumb, if you will. That's the predated letter. Did you get a sufficient answer as to the order, the implementation? Is it legal? Because I had a bunch of former city officials who were in elected positions say, does the Secretary of State know about this? What do you think about all that?
Well, look, I'm concerned about the fact that our excess workers' compensation and inland marine policies that had already been bound and were due to renew on January 1st were changed at the direction of Evelyn Kelly, our risk manager, before Mayor Perkins took office, and that's why I and other members of the Audit and Finance Committee had the meeting we did yesterday to discuss that issue.
And you've said in your analysis that Shanerica Flemings, while she was a private citizen, directed Miss Kelly to change the agent of record on both policies. She had to be acting under someone's direction, correct?
I assume that's right, yes, but I don't know yet.
Okay, and the mayor has said, and I'm quoting him, as he sent me a statement last night, quote, I changed the city's insurance agent to save the citizens of Shreveport money. Did we save money?
I want to distinguish between the changes that were made before December 29th, which concerned policies that Risk Services was the agent for, and changes that have been made after December 29th.
Okay.
I know, based on the documents that I have reviewed, that we paid the exact same amount for the excess workers' compensation policy to Third Millennium that Risk Services quoted us. That amount was $542,082. I've got the invoice that Risk Services sent the city on December 11th, 2018. I've got the records from our accounts department showing that we issued a check to Third Millennium in January for that amount. So in terms of the premium paid on that large policy, we know we saved no money. I understand that the mayor issued a statement last night or this morning concerning all the insurance changes that have been made since he took office. I don't have information sufficient to ascertain, and no member of the council does, whether those changes will save the city money. I don't have any reason to question the mayor's assessment that they will.
Who is Rodrell Sykes, and how did he wander into this whole equation?
Well, you have a copy of the remarks that I made at the Audit and Finance Committee yesterday. We know that Mr. Sykes is a Shreveport native. We know that he is a personal friend and former business partner of Joshua Williams, who ran the mayor's campaign recently. And as I indicated in my remarks, we've been advised that he and Mr. Williams and Mr. Sykes may be first cousins. So that is his connection, so far as I know.
It reeks of cronyism, and it smells. I was hopeful that with the new mayor we wouldn't be talking about things like this. Were you of the same mindset, John?
Well, look, I will say this: I expect every local official always to act in the best interest of the public. I don't think anyone should use his or her office or authority to benefit a friend or a political supporter or anybody else other than the person that can give the best service for the best price. Does it concern me that with no apparent process we have selected as our new agent for some of our city's insurance policies a person with the connections we just described? Yes, that concerns me. I think it would concern anyone in my position as a member of the council.
Who is Mr. Sykes' current employer? What is his history in the insurance biz? What can you tell us that we might not know?
I don't know that I know anything you don't know. One piece of this puzzle that doesn't make sense to me is that we have been told in public records, LinkedIn indicates that Mr. Sykes is employed by Frost Bank in Dallas, which has an insurance department, or at least was until very recently. But the email traffic we have examined in connection with the change of the policies before December 29th indicates that he was working the excess workers' comp and inland marine policy deal for Third Millennium in New Orleans, his prior employer. I don't understand that. Why is Mr. Sykes doing work for Third Millennium if he's employed by Frost Bank? What interest does he have in that transaction, if any?
Have we replaced Gallagher? Have we a signed deal with somebody else to replace those the deal they had in place?
Yeah, I understand that we have, but one problem from my perspective, and the reason that I have an insurance ordinance on the agenda for a final vote today, is that the mayor presently is not obligated to give the city council any formal reports of changes to insurance agents and insurance policies before those changes are made. I want to make sure that the city council, as the governing authority of the city, gets that information ahead of time.
John, please let's go into the errors and omissions, because now, to be honest with you, that is my number one concern, and people may not understand that. Explain what E&O means and how this risk services deal and Third Millennial compare.
Sure. So this is something that if you're not in this type of business, you'd have no reason to know anything about. But errors and omissions insurance is professional liability insurance for insurance agents and brokers. So if an insurance agent is requested to procure a policy with particular terms, or which provides the coverages that a city like ours needs, and it makes a mistake, and those mistakes can there are all kinds of possibilities. You might fail to negotiate the terms of the insurance policy correctly. Money intended for an insurance premium might not find its way to the insurer for some reason.
Let me interject. Mr. Sykes has been cited for making errors on insurance policies before, FYI.
I do understand that, and that's public record with the insurance commissioner.
Okay,
but
go on.
Errors and omission insurance protects the insured if it needs to make a claim against its insurance agent. Risk Services, according to Mr. Eppers yesterday during our Audit and Finance Committee meeting, has $70 million of E&O coverage, and that is what I would expect for a company that is brokering large policies for municipalities. Because if you make a mistake on a policy that provides hundreds of millions of dollars of coverage, then you need to have the insurance necessary to cover your client's loss. Third Millennium has a $1 million per occurrence E&O policy, which is grossly inadequate for an insurance agent doing business and brokering policies on behalf of a city our size.
If we have a tragedy, John, in our city that somehow the city is to blame for, and there's an error on this insurance policy, this town is broke.
Well, look, Aaron, that is one reason that I have been so acutely concerned about this. We have $3 million in reserve, according to the mayor and his administration, which is 5 days of money. If we have a $10 million uncovered claim, we're in the red and don't have the ability to pay it. So this is something we just can't afford to make a mistake on, and that is the reason that I would like to see some changes in the way that the city selects its insurance brokers and how involved the city council is in that process.
Just in wrapping up, John, your change is proposed that you alluded to earlier is to give the power, give the power, I think, back to the city council. What are your chances? How do you see that going?
Well, I think I have the votes. There were some comments made by several other members of the council yesterday during our administrative conference, and I think, look, no one wants to take away power that has traditionally been exercised by the mayor from this new mayor, but we do want to make sure that the city council exercises appropriate oversight concerning how we spend the millions of dollars we spend every year on insurance. I believe the measure will pass, and I think it'll be a good first step to addressing some of the problems we've discussed.